Hi there, Steve Arterburn here, and thank you for joining me with Going Deeper. I'm going to go a little deeper today into what we started last time, this hoarding problem that folks can have. Boy, it is frustrating to see this, and you just think a person would be so miserable in all of the stuff that gets piled up that they'd want to change. But they are stuck. I mean, they're almost like the ultimate definition of being stuck is a hoarder. It makes no sense. But, many times we are hoarders internally. Maybe we can relate to that. Maybe you hoard regrets, and every day you go over all the stupid things you've ever done, all the mistakes that you've ever made. Maybe that's how you hoard things. Or maybe you hoard grudges against other people and your whole mind is just full of anger and bitterness and judgment against anybody that isn't like you. So we can see how maybe we store up some things that are really, really destructive. And rather than on the inside, then the hoarder does that on the outside. If we can have some compassion for ourselves, some understanding for ourselves, then maybe we can offer that up to the person that is hoarding. Now, the previous program, I gave you 5 things. I want to give you 5 more things. And so, if you are the person that could assist the hoarder in getting free, which it isn't likely that a friend is going to be able to do this because they're embarrassed and they don't want to go through this with you. But I want you to know how this thing can work. I want you to be the one that's confident that the worst of hoarders actually can clean up the house, develop new habits, and never fill it back up again. Now, if you don't deal with the emotional stuff on the inside, it's like getting bariatric surgery. You get the surgery, you lose 100 pounds, and then you start to override the surgery, and you're back where you were, or even worse than you were before. Who wants to be like that? Not me. It's not good. So what we want to do is try to help the best that we can. And so if you happen to be one of these folks that gets to the person and is able to help them deal with stuff, then maybe you could suggest this. You want to take some things that they have held on to and they never want to forget because maybe it's a link to the past or it's whatever, but you want to see if you could scan it or photograph it or, I guess you could say even draw it. And the goal would be to develop a file of personal things on the phone or the computer. And then you're going to say, now look, we're going to take a picture of this. And because that means something to you, but you don't need to have this giant stuffed doll just taking up space. But we're going to take a picture of it, and we're going to put that picture in this file of valuable things on your computer. And then I'm going to suggest that at another time you go back and you put a journal entry in with that big, huge, giant stuffed clown. And you type in there how that was acquired, what it meant to you, how hard it was to let it go. I mean, that can really help a person see that I don't have to have the actual thing. I can have a picture, but a picture, sometimes they say it's just not enough. But when they journal about that picture, now they've really got something. They go from this thing that's taking up a lot of space to having something where my feelings about it are written down. So that could really be an amazing thing. And you want to be sure that they're doing the 3 categories: throw it away, give it away, or keep it. And when they keep it, after you've done it, you want to see, is there something that could be scanned or photographed, and then they could give that away. And you want to be sure that they're not taking too long with each item. If a person that's a hoarder takes over 10 seconds, there's a good chance that they'll start to develop like an attachment to that, and they'll yeah, it won't go well. They'll get kind of reattached to it, and then they'll have all sorts of reasons that they can't give it up. Now, next item, this would be number 2 today, or number 7 in the list of 10. You want to help them go bit by bit. It's overwhelming when you think about this giant collection of stuff. And so the only way it becomes less overwhelming, where they might on their own do something about it, is helping them see the little bits of the problem that they could take care of. Okay, so one way to do it is you find the smallest room, probably a bathroom, and you say, let's clean this up first. Or you say, hey, let's get a picture of your bathroom. You take a picture of it, send it to me, and then I want you to spend time, whatever you can, throw it away out of that bathroom first. Find anything you can throw away. And then the next thing is, what do you want to give away and what do you want to keep? And let's make it look neat. Now, the next thing that you might want to do, or you might even want to do this first, is you go to the closet and you start to deal with the wardrobe and stuff like that. Maybe the bit piece is you look at all the collections that this person has, and they may have many and they don't make a lot of sense, but you ask, is there any collection that isn't bringing you some joy, or are there some things in your collections that you've got 2 of? We could let go of those. And maybe you look at some clothing in a closet and you help them make a commitment that any kind of clothing that I have a duplicate of, I'm going to give that away. And we'll talk more about clothing in just a minute. Sometimes if you could just, the bit piece isn't location or anything, but it's how about 10 minutes a day you spend time finding things to either throw away or give away. So you start them off not on 3 piles, but 2. Throw away or give away, and the rest are just going to keep. And sometimes when space is freed up, there's a new motivation to go deeper in the stuff that you were going to keep, but you don't keep it because you've found that now I can do what I did before. I can photograph it, or I can scan it, put it in a file, and later I can go back and journal over it. Now, number 8 is one of the greatest things that could ever happen is this person getting some therapy. So if you know of a professional that really specializes in hoarding, it's good to know that person, know how much they charge, know that they've had success, so that at the right time you could say to the hoarder, this person is known for helping people that have collected a few too many things. And so I'll go with you might be one thing you'd say, or I want to help you with this, find this person, and whatever I can do. But you really want them to get some therapy, not just a counseling session with the pastor one time. I mean, that's not going to hurt, but they really do need some ongoing therapy from a licensed clinical professional. And the more experience they've had with hoarding, the better. Now, the other thing that we want to do is we want to, if possible, if funds allowed, we want an organizational specialist to come in there, especially someone that has helped hoarders get organized. What a great thing if you could give them a free session with somebody that's going to say, look, we got a lot of stuff here. We're just going to start with the kitchen, or start with that bathroom, or start with your closet, and we're going to start to organize things. Now, that's different than churning. When you have an organizational specialist there, they really are going to organize for the future. It's not going to be a churn. They're going to be pushing this person to throw things away, give things away, and then organize what's left. So, really good therapy from a very experienced therapist who has hopefully a lot of experience or specialized in this area. Now, number 9 is maybe the best place to start is with clothing. This varies. Some people are really, really attached to clothing. And it could be because they didn't have any when they were a child. Could be because they want to be sure they're prepared when global warming melts everything and then we entered the ice age. Whatever it is, they may have duplicate clothes. We've talked about that. So you might start there. Or maybe it's, let's look at something that you haven't worn in 2 years of this cold weather or 2 years of the hot weather. Let's look at something you've never worn in 2 years. Or now we can go to maybe 1 year or 6 months. But what you want to do, the goal would be that they would end up with about 10 outfits, and that's all. And the rest is going to be photographed. They can journal about it, where they wore that, how special it was to them. But you want them to scan or photograph this thing that they're holding on to that they'll never wear again. Some people are 20 pounds overweight and they have a whole wardrobe that would fit them if they were 20 pounds lighter. But they're never going to be there. It doesn't look like they're going to be there. So them giving away their duplicate wardrobe would be a great thing because some other people are going to wear it and use it. It's not just going to be hoarded away. Lastly, I think we have to look at the spiritual dimension here, and we have to say that it is a fact that the Bible tells us that we will have life to the full if we could trust God, if we could transform our lives based on God's truth. We would have blessings and riches so great we couldn't even think them up. Well, if you don't believe that that's true, then you're going to think I've got to accumulate everything I can for me to have anything, to feel full. Or if you're so obsessed with fear, love casts out fear. So maybe you've got a problem with your love relationship, or this other person does, a problem with love relationship with God, and that causes you to be afraid of the future, and because you're afraid, you're going to stockpile stuff to get ready for that future that may never come. So we want to try to help that person get into the spiritual realm of being. Prayer, meditation, even fasting, reading the Bible, saturating your mind with God's truth. And then if we could, once a week at least, get with other people in a Bible study or a home group, certainly absolutely must attend church every week, at least one time. But, my wife facilitates 2 recovery groups for women. One, just general recovery, and another is just full of shame. These women are trying to do the best, but they all have a sexual integrity problem. And so maybe you have that, and this is your way of treating that wound, thinking, man, this is better than what I was involved with when my sexual addiction was in charge. So I don't know what it is, but you're trying to help this person fill their mind with God's truth, give them a devotional, give them a Bible, whatever. Offer to study the Bible. Offer to study the Bible with them over the phone, or just read to them. But anytime you can find a way to be with them, that they can build trust in you and they can see that you're going to be patient, you're not just going to try to fix them and then run away. That's going to be a big healing thing for them. Hoarding is taking all the things on the outside and hoping that that's going to resolve something, or expecting it to resolve something on the inside. And it never, ever does. So I hope this is helpful. Patience, care, loving, understanding, all that really important for you to express to the person that is stuck with a bunch of junk that they just don't know how to get rid of. And never dishonor anything that they think is valuable. Because if we could get them to give it away and somebody else use it and they think it's so valuable, that might be the thing that continues to motivate them to make the change. God bless you. I hope you can help somebody who's a hoarder. whether they hoard or whether they're depressed, whatever it is. I hope and pray that your presence, above all else, above your words, your direction, your presence is there for them. Thanks for going deeper with me. Steve Arterburn here. I'll see you next time, and we'll continue to focus on some problems from the people that have them and the people that we love and care about that possess problems. And they really have a solution. It's just that it's never, ever simple or easy. See you. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.